Like Dua Lipa says, one kiss is all it takes. But in the world of Drag Race and the Ball, one look is all it takes to cost you the win. Welcome to Wild Spear, where today we'll be talking about 5 times a single look cost a queen the Ball Challenge on their respective season. As someone who likes to sew, the Ball was always my favorite challenge on the season. In a ball, the queens are supposed to bring 2 looks from home and create 1 look in the workroom based on whatever the ball category is. Generally, the judges and fans rate the looks that are constructed in the workroom the highest during the challenge, while the looks from home are more supplementary. However, sometimes these looks that they bring from home can be so bad they overpower an amazing constructed look. Today, we'll be talking about times when one of these looks that a queen brought from home cost a queen the win. This has happened a number of times in Drag Race history, but today we'll just be talking about the first 5 times that I could think of. I know there are more across the various franchises that we have in Drag Race, so please let me know if I missed any in the comments. One thing that I think it's important to note before we start this video is that queens don't really know that these looks that they're bringing from home will necessarily be part of a ball. At the start of a season, before the queens arrive, they're given a list of potential runway categories that they need to bring looks for related to those categories. 2 of those runways are eventually added to the ball, and sometimes you can tell that these looks will be part of a ball, but other times you don't know. Sometimes queens even think that these looks they're bringing are for a mini challenge. And that might explain the disconnect that we have between some of the looks that we see in the balls. The look that inspired this video is what I'm going to start out with. The season 15 ball was the Crystal Ball, where the queens had to follow the following categories. Start Your Engines, a look that they brought from home representing drag racing. My Favorite Ball, a look that they brought from home that represents their favorite ball from a previous drag race season. And Crystallized Eleganza, a look that they constructed in the workroom using crystals as a medium. The queens really had a lot of different approaches when it came to the crystal. We have Luxe Noir London, who created a look entirely out of crystals with wings and a bodysuit. Then we had people like Anetra, who had an amazing spine look for the crystal ball. And when it came to Anetra's look, you can tell that I'm gay because when Anetra came around the corner in that look, I audibly gasped when I saw it, and that doesn't happen very often. I think it's amazing that she was able to construct this entire look and crystallize it over the course of a day and a half. Looking at Anetra's other 2 categories though, her Start Your Engines look was just fine. I think most of the queens didn't really knock that category out of the park, so that category was really a wash no matter how well people did. But the My Favorite Ball category had some amazing looks from some queens and some not so amazing looks from others. Anetra had probably one of the worst looks of the season for her Sugar Ball inspired look. Anetra wore a bodysuit with a couple embellishments of, I think it was Laffy Taffy she was going for. For somebody who turned out that amazing final look in the workroom, it's pretty shocking that the look she brought from home for her favorite ball turned out to be this. For this reason, Anetra was passed over for the win, which was given to Sasha Colby, who instead had 3 looks that kind of checked the box. I personally would have given this to Mistress Isabelle Brooks, but at the end of the day, this video is about a single look that cost a queen the ball, and that's exactly what happened here to Anetra. No matter who else won the challenge, Anetra lost it because of her Sugar Ball look. The next ball we'll be talking about is probably the most confusingly judged ball in Drag Race history, and that was the Monster Ball from season 11. The queens had to serve 3 looks: a Trampy Trick-or-Treater look, a Witch Please look, and a Monster I'd Like to Freak look that they created in the workroom. The win was given to Brooklyn Heights, who had a solid look in all 3 categories. However, a number of other queens had amazing final looks which could have won the challenge. The queen I'm going to focus on today is Plastique Tiara, who had one of the best Monster I'd Like to Freak looks, which landed her in the top for that episode. Her Witch Please look, and most of the other queens, did alright in that category. We had a wide variety of witches, which I don't think the judges were really expecting, but everyone turned a pretty solid look for that Witch Please look. The look that I think cost Plastique the win was her trampy trick-or-treater look. Plastique went the most traditional route that could be expected for this category. She wore the Playboy Bunny look, which was very similar to the one that Regina George wore on Mean Girls. The look was fine, but it was very basic for a runway on RuPaul's Drag Race. It was something that you might see on Season 1 or Season 2 of Drag Race, not Season 11. It didn't really have the sort of drag element to it. It was more so something that you would see somebody wearing in real life. When compared to the looks from Brooklyn Heights, Nina West, or A'keria Chanel Davenport, it really pales in comparison to what they were able to create, or the different takes on Trampy Trick-or-Treater that they gave us. If Plastique had embellished the look more or made it a little bit more over the top, I think she stood a good chance to win the challenge. Instead, though, she had to settle for second place. Moving into All Stars now, All Stars 3 had one of the most unique balls in Drag Race. Instead of having 3 looks that they had to bring from home or create in the workroom, they had 2 that they had to create instead of bringing from home. Here's another Wild Spear video where I'm already breaking my rules and doing a look that was not brought from home, but it did cost a queen the ball. So there's that. The queens had first the soup can look, where they had to wear a soup can that represented their brand of drag, and second, a Studio 54 realness look inspired by Studio 54. I mentioned this in one of the most robbed design challenge looks in Drag Race when I mentioned Aja. She had one of the best Studio 54 looks of the week. She actually sewed the look, and it was one of the few garments that I really feel like you could have seen in Studio 54 back then. The reason that I'm putting Aja on this list too is that her soup can was probably one of the worst of the week. As I mentioned before, the queens had to create a soup can that represented their brand of drag. This is an homage to Andy Warhol's famous Campbell's soup can painting, and it turned out to be a bit strange in practice. We had queens like Ben de la Creme do a creme de la creme soup, Shangela did Halle Loops, Trixie did Pep Abysmal, which fit her sort of campy style of drag. The problem that Aja had was that the can that she created didn't really have a recognizable brand. And that's where Aja struggled in this challenge. She doesn't have the branding that some of these other queens did too. Her choice of can didn't really say much about who she was as a queen, and it wasn't as creative as some of the other choices. If she had done something about her dancing or something about the drama that she had with Valentina on her original season, I really think that could have put her in the top. But it appears that she just missed what the judges were looking for in that category. And that's why Bibi Zahara Benet won the challenge and sent Aja home that episode in a garment that Aja made for her. What an icon you are, Bibi. When it comes to All Stars balls, I think All Star 6's blue ball was one of the best that we have seen in Drag Race. We had amazing looks from the winner, Raja O'Hara, pulled out amazing looks in all 3 categories, but other queens like Trinity K. Bonet, Kylie Sonique Love, and Scarlett Envy, even Eureka, turned out amazing looks as well. The best final look may have belonged to Trinity K. Bonet, who used tarps and tulle to create an amazing final look. However, Trinity also brought us one of the most iconically bad runways in Drag Race. For the blue ball, the queens had to pull out 3 looks, the first being a blue Betta Work blue collar look that they brought from home, then Blue Jean Baby, one that incorporated blue denim, and then finally the blue ball Bonanza, where the queens had to create looks out of blue materials. Trinity's Blue Jean Baby look was a great 60s inspired denim outfit, and as I mentioned before, her blue Bonanza look was gorgeous. Her blue Betta Work look though was, let's just say, she really leaned into the realness aspect of this look. The working look that Trinity tried to create was a crossing guard, and this being Drag Race, most of the other queens added a sort of drag element to it. Trinity instead took the look of an actual crossing guard and just kind of left it there. The cherry on top of this look was the crudely made crossing guard sign that she walked around with, which took it to a little bit of a level of camp that some of the other queens didn't, but it couldn't really compete when we stacked it up against some of the others in the category. For this reason, Trinity was kept out of the top entirely, even though she had two other amazing looks. The win was given to Raja, and she certainly deserved it, but what would have happened if Trinity had brought a different look for that first category? Who knows, but I stand to think she would have ended up in the top. The very next season of All Stars was the All-Winner season, and it had another great ball. For this ball, we had the Realness of Fortune ball, in which every category was inspired by Wheel of Fortune. Did anyone else expect us to have a Drag Race crossover with Wheel of Fortune? Because I certainly did not. The categories for this ball were Vanna White Realness, a look that was inspired by the legendary Wheel of Fortune host, Before and After, a look combining two separate things into a single look, which is commonly a category in Wheel of Fortune, and Realness of Fortune Eleganza, a look made in the workroom using a single color. This being an all-winner season, almost every queen had an amazing final constructed look. Except for Jinx, but we still love her anyway. The queens who had the best final looks were Trinity the Tuck, Jaida Essence Hall, and Raja. One look that I consistently see ranked as one of the best ball looks in history was the gold look that Raja created for this challenge. Trinity's red look and Jaida's black look were also amazing, and all three deserved the win. With that being the case, we need to look at the remaining categories to determine who truly was the winner of the challenge. The first category, Vanna White Realness, was pretty great across the board. Other than Yvie and Monet X Change, I think everyone did a look that we could see Vanna wearing. Before and After, though, was a bit hit or miss. Jaida's Bag Lady in red was one of my favorite looks of the entire season, and I still think about that one to this day. Trinity did RuPaul Charles II, which to me feels like she was just trying to grab at any sort of other Charles that she could put so she could have a RuPaul Charles look. Charles II was one of the kings of England, so she was able to combine RuPaul's looks with sort of a 15th, 16th century style outfit. Unfortunately, Raja, she had Olivia Newton-John Waters. For this look, Raja decided to wear Olivia Newton-John's iconic Sandy look from Grease with a very faint mustache, which was supposed to represent John Waters' famous mustache. It was so faint, you couldn't even really tell that it was there. The mustache was thinner than Violet Chachki's waist in that one challenge. This unfortunately gave Raja probably one of the worst looks of the entire ball and knocked her out of that top 2 position. Jaida and Trinity are deserving winners of the ball, but what would have happened if Raja had an amazing look in the second category? And those are 5 times in Drag Race history where a single look cost a queen the ball win. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think any of these looks were worthy of ruining a queen's win in the ball? And did I miss any from other franchises or other seasons of Drag Race? Let me know in the comments, and stay tuned for more stuff here on Wildspear.